So a couple of days ago, I was scrolling through Twitter as I woke up, which is actually a terrible habit. I need to not resort to going on Twitter as soon as I wake up for 10 minutes. It's not a good habit. But that doesn't matter. So I was scrolling through Twitter, right? And I saw a tweet that basically said that Taylor Swift is in talks to be a part of the MCU. And I was like, I like Taylor Swift. What the fuck does she know about Marvel? And that thought kind of created a ripple effect, and I was really, just in bed trying to understand what happened to Marvel, bro. Like, what happened to the MCU? What happened to these great movies, these great stories that were built over the past decade? Because if you were to ask me right now what is going on in Marvel and what's going on and, what the MCU is about right now, I couldn't tell you. I really don't know what the fuck them niggas be talking about, and I don't know, the sequence of movies that's taking place right now. Ever since Endgame, okay, that's a lie. Ever since Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, bro, yeah. Ever since that, I have no idea what is going on in Marvel. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. And it also made me kind of think back to just how fun it was as an event to go and actually watch a Marvel movie, and everybody, is there in the cinema talking. Everybody is oohing and ahhing at every scene. Everybody is laughing. Everybody is tuned in. The cinema is packed. The most important thing in everybody's lives at that moment is watching whatever Marvel movie we came there to see, right? And I'm just thinking back to times when I was like 13 and 14, watching Avengers Age of Ultron with my pops and my brother, and just going to the cinema to see those movies. Leaving the cinema, the entire drive back home is us just talking about, how insane that movie was, and talking about the story and the effects and the graphics. Marvel movies used to be an event. Marvel stories that they created used to be interesting. And I'm not sure what happened since Endgame. I mean, I know what happened, and I'll talk about that in a sec. I know what happened, but I didn't expect them to fall off this badly. To the point where I'm actually more interested right now in other comic book stories. And I'm actually watching shows like The Boys now and Invincibles. Shows that are not Marvel, but I am actually more engrossed in those stories compared to Marvel, because I feel like the MCU has fallen off so fucking badly. And to circle back to the point about Taylor Swift being in the MCU. Again, I have nothing against Taylor Swift. Like, you could, sing all these songs you want to sing. It almost feels like what Marvel is doing right now is they are trying to commodify the MCU, if that makes sense. And that's kind of weird to say, because, Marvel was always a very highly in demand product. Marvel movies, Marvel merch, Marvel shows. It was always a very highly commodified product, right? And it always used to pull insane numbers. Whatever movie dropped, whatever show was streaming, whatever game they released, Marvel was always highly commodified. So I'm not gonna say that they're trying to commodify it, no, because it always has been commodified, right? But something now is kind of weird, where I feel like they're just pushing out these movies and they're not really looking at the details in these movies, like the stories in these movies. When I think back to 10 years ago, right, and the original Iron Man trilogy dropped, Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, that kind of led into the Avengers. That original trilogy. Well, of course, we had Hulk as well, but the Iron Man trilogy, the story behind the Iron Man trilogy, it was seamless how that kind of led into the Avengers and other movies as well, whether it was Captain America, whether it was Thor. I feel like every single individual Marvel movie just seamlessly blended into the other movie. And when they came together, whether it was, Captain America Civil War, or whether it was an Avengers movie, we knew every single story. We knew, okay, this is what Captain America went through, this is what Thor went through, this is what Tony Stark going through. Ooh, Spider-Man, nice. We know what these niggas going through, right? But no, bro, I saw that Miss Marvel's trailer, or the Marvels. I haven't even watched it. And I was like, bro, what is this? I don't know any of these niggas. I remember whenever Marvel dropped a trailer, I was tapped in. I knew what was going on. I knew the entire story. I could tell you what's going to happen in this trailer before I even saw it. Because I was on Reddit and I was on forums and shit, looking at teasers and leaks, and I was reading the comics. No, bro, I don't even have an interest in trying to figure out what Marvel is doing. Which is a sad state to be in, because at one point, everybody was looking forward to the next Marvel movie. But now you're trying to make, these Marvel shows and these Marvel products and these movies, whether it be streaming on Disney Plus as a show, or whether it be a movie to go and watch in theaters. I just have a strange feeling, and I'm observing how it's taking place. I'm observing how they're kind of pushing all these movies, right? And let me know if I'm wrong. They're only making these movies right now to make a profit. There's no thought going behind what stories do we want to tell. How do we want to convey these comic book stories into movie form? How do we want to, innovate these comic book stories? How do we want to tell these stories to create something? And even though they always were making movies to make a profit, of course, they're a business, I just feel like ever since Disney came into play, bro, you could just feel the difference in the films. Even when I was watching Avengers Age of Ultron, right, there was some kind of sense of importance taking place. Like, yeah, it was a superficial comic book movie, right, but it still felt important, right? And when Age of Ultron ended, the next movie I was even more hyped for, because I was like, okay, this end scene kind of is teasing this, alright, so I could see where they are going with this story now. No, it just feels like it's kind of like honestly, the best way to exemplify this is I feel like Marvel has become a parody of itself. That's it. I feel like Marvel has become a parody of itself. When I'm seeing clips of, Megan Thee Stallion shaking her ass with She-Hulk, and I'm seeing rumors of Taylor Swift joining the MCU. What we even doing? Look at my boy Hulk. Look at Hulk right now. I don't want to watch anything that has Hulk in it right now, because the deterioration of Hulk in Marvel needs to be studied. When I first saw that very first Hulk movie, right, back in 2009 or some shit, I was scared of Hulk. I always knew Hulk to be terrifying. Now when I look at Hulk, bro, he looks like a freaking teddy bear, which is cool. I get that they're trying to show that Bruce Banner has, kind of developed some kind of control over Hulk now, and he's not as evil and he's not as scary, because they want to make him once again marketable and they want to commodify him, obviously. But this Hulk is not the same Hulk that I grew up on. This bitch ass nigga Hulk that they're trying to promote to us, bro. What the fuck? I'm kind of ranting right now. I have no kind of set structure to this video. But the main point I want to say is what happened to Marvel. The fall off needs to be studied. It really needs to be studied, because how do you go from having billion-dollar movies? Everybody in the world is tapped in. Everybody knows what's going on. I just remember there was a point in time where everybody knew what was going on in the MCU. Everybody knew. I feel like the only Marvel movie that anybody is really interested in right now is Spider-Man. But outside of Spider-Man, bro, like these spin-off movies, what we doing? What are we actually doing?